Hey, welcome to my channel. I'm really excited today to be breaking down how to set goals, how to crush your goals, how to find out what you want in life, and then how to zoom in on that and turn it into action steps and then actually follow through on a day-to-day basis. So what you're gonna have learned by the end of this video is like how to do the to-do steps today that will translate into you going where you wanna be in life. And this gets me really excited. So I'm the kind of person that I think big picture to little picture, which means I need to know where I'm going in life. Like if I don't have like that picture and that vision of where I'm headed, I don't feel inspired. I don't feel lit up. And honestly, like I'll look at my to-do list and I won't see the bigger picture connection. I won't really realize like, why do I have to send that email? Or like, why do I have to transcribe that? Or like, this is stupid, I don't want to do it. And then I'll like cop out. However, if you can connect those little tasks that seem maybe a little insignificant with no, this is where I'm going. These little steps are gonna lead me to here, and I have a clear vision of here, and this vision of here empowers me, it gets me energized, like it is my juice and my fuel. That is gonna change your life. Like I'm telling you, you're gonna have such like a fierce fire waking up every morning. You're gonna wanna get out of bed. You're gonna jump out of bed eager to attack that to-do list, eager to get those action items because you've connected with that bigger picture. So being that big to small vision person that I am, big picture to small picture, I've outlined in this video the steps that we need to be taking to find the dreams that we want, first of all, then zooming that into creating macro goals out of that, and then turning those into micro goals, zooming down a little bit, and then finally turning those micro goals into action steps. And that's where you actually get into the nitty-gritty day-to-day life where you're like, these are my 5 things I'm gonna do today. But I don't know about you, I've had a hard time connecting those 5 things with the big things and not really seeing where it's going. We need that energy. We need to see where we're going. We're not going to take the small steps to get to where we're going, and we're not going to get to where we're going if we don't have the small steps. So that's why it was really important for me to create this video for you to share the action steps that I've been learning, everything I've been kind of gathering through studying this a lot lately. I've been like digging into Brian Tracy's emails, who's like this old-timer personal development guru, and I've been taking a lot of notes and really kind of wrapping my head around this, and I am so excited to get to share that with you today. So keep watching. So step 1, you're going to find and make your macro goals. Your macro goals is the big stuff. Okay, so a lot of people view this as like your 5-year plan, which, gosh, I mean, I can't think 1 year ahead. 5 years seems a little ambitious, but knowing that 5 years is kind of the recommended amount of time of when to dream, I have just been kind of keeping like a running document in my phone whenever I think of something new. So when I was first kind of researching this and learning 5-year goals was the way to go, I thought of like 2 things. And then in the past few months, I've been adding to it more and more. And I'll see someone else get a fun opportunity to be like, ooh, I want that. Yeah, I'm gonna add that to the list. Or I'll be like, oh my God, I wanna collaborate with Oprah. Yes, add that to the 5-year list, right? So stuff that is probably like a little out of reach now, but could be a reality. Like you can work for this stuff and make it happen. So when you're keeping this in mind, you wanna look at your future and think about what excites you. And the way that I mentally like to view this is if you're looking ahead at your future and it's kind of blank, if you're looking at a year from now and you don't have anything filled in mentally, there's not going to be a whole lot of incentive for you to be alive or for you to go anywhere. So you need to put these mental markers in. It's almost like today we're creating the skeleton of the body, like we're creating the outline. And I think of it like I just wrote a book. And when I wrote my first book, I did not use an outline because I'm creative, so I thought I could just jump in and just write that thing and just do it. But you know, it really ended up being a disservice to me in the long run because if I would have gathered my ideas clearly from the beginning and had an outline and then gone with that like step by step, it would have saved me a lot of heartache because towards the end of the book, what I had was giant chunks of awesome writing, but no way to fit those together. A lot of it was incohesive. A lot of it I didn't even end up getting to use because it didn't fit. And I had to make the skeleton after I'd already made all the pieces. So that didn't work. Same thing with your life. Same thing with my life. We want to be creating that skeleton first. So let's get excited about our future. Like, let's plan and create a badass future for ourselves. If you need some motivation on this, I invite you to watch my video on feeling like a badass. And that's just gonna be like a 5-minute pep talk from me to you. It's gonna get you fired up. It's gonna get your heart rate up. And after you're done watching that, you're gonna be like, yes, I got this. I can do this. So pause this video right now if you need to watch that. For the rest of you who are still here with me, I want us to use an example for the macro goal so you can kind of see what I'm calling a macro goal and see if it kind of lines up with yours. So let's say that you are a musician. Welcome, musicians. I know we have a lot of you watching, so happy to have you here. If you are just a musician starting out, your goal could be to reach 1,000 people with your music this year. Now, that statement is doing a lot of things right, and I want to tell you what they are. First of all, it's specific enough. I'm saying a number of 1,000 people. I'm not just saying I want to grow my band, right? That's way too vague. There's no way to measure that. I've got the specifics in there, and then I've got the deadline. So this year, this video is recorded in 2018, so if I want to get specific, December 31st, 2018, I want to have reached 1,000 people with my music. Something else that's really good about wording it this way, rather than get 1,000 new fans, for example, is it's really motivating to have goals that are service oriented. I don't know how to describe it, but there's some sort of internal shift when we focus on serving our fellow humans with the content and the art that we're putting out. And it creates this, it's like a different energy. So instead of saying, I need to convince 1,000 people to like my music this year, it shifts to, I want to serve 1,000 people. I want to give people the gift. I want to reach 1,000 humans with this art that I've created that I know they're going to love. And the wording matters. You want to word your goals in a way that gets you really excited. You know, when you think about your goal, you want to feel good. And remember this, like if you are working towards your goals and it's not feeling good, it's because maybe you're not wording it right, or maybe you don't want it anymore. Maybe you need to sit with that and either purposefully change your thinking around it, because maybe you do want it, but it's not feeling good, or maybe just reapproach that and see if it's still what you want. So Brian Tracy, who I did mention earlier, has this great quote who says, you must write out your goals as if you were placing an order for your goal to be manufactured in a factory at a great distance. And I really love this. This has helped me a lot when setting my goals because it's helped me be more specific. If I'm placing an order at a goal manufacturing factory, I'm going to get real specific, and you know what? I'm going to dream a little bit bigger. Like if I'm kind of guaranteed to get what I want, I'm going to be like, I don't just want one car, I'll take 5, please, and thank you, right? So think of it in that terms. And I think a lot of us with the goals, we do have these monetary goals that we set, and we have stuff that we want, you know? I want this gorgeous house, or I want $1 million. That's cool, and that can be a macro goal, but maybe kind of flip it in a way that it is a service-oriented goal. So that's what, like again, instead of this musician, I want to make $1,000 with my music, I'm going to reach 1,000 people. Just something to keep in mind. Okay, so have fun with this. Pause this video and start letting your brain dream. You're putting in that order for what you want in the next year or 5 years. Like maybe decide, okay, like a year sounds good to me, or no, that doesn't seem long enough. I got to get some stuff in order. 3 years is more realistic for me. And let your brain have fun with it and feel all the good feelings. Like if you don't do this on a regular basis, you should, because it's just a great way to add joy in your life. Light a candle, play some music, sit with your notebook and be like crafting your ideal life. It's just so delicious and so awesome. Have those and then take it from, if it's a more abstract place, take it to a more specific and come up with some of those specific, like achievable, measurable, for real, macro goals that you are going to be tackling in your life. Okay, so once you've got those macro goals, and you can just have one, that's fine. If you have more than one, you're gonna want to just hone in on one for the next part of this video, and then you can use the strategies for all the other ones as well. So if you have 3 giant macro goals here, we're just gonna pick one. And so in the musician analogy, if you have the macro goal of the 1,000 fans, you're going to turn that into the micro goals. These are the steps along the way. So like the way I've heard it put is, let's say you're like driving across the country. You've got your map, not like we use maps anymore, but that's okay. You've got your map, like you've got the path drawn out, your little car, you know, along the path. And then the little stops that you've like maybe marked with an X, like that's the gas station stop here. This is the lunch stop here. This is the stretch our legs sightseeing stop here. And so it's basically like, I'm going somewhere big. I need small little steps in between there. And so that's what you're going to be doing, is breaking it down. I think it makes sense to have between about 3 and 10 of those micro goals inside the macro. So it's like step 1, step 2. And so inside the musician analogy, the micro steps to getting the 1,000 fans would be things like make a demo. It would be things like create a music video, start taking your social media more seriously, start playing local shows. These are all ways to achieve that goal. And you might want to list them all out and then put them in order for what makes sense to you with your budget, with the time that you have available. You know, maybe you're going to need to hit one before you can hit the next, and that's you just putting them in order. Like these are the towns I need to pass in order to get to my ultimate destination on the other side of the country. So once you've got these micro goals, these stepping stones written down and decided on, which is, by the way, an amazing step, yay for you, then you're going to create the how. So like, how do you make a demo, right? How do you take your social media more seriously in order to reach 1,000 fans? You should just like get out your pencil or get on your computer and just freestyle, write all that stuff out. Like, this is how I would need to research this. A lot of times everything seems so like vague to us that we don't even know what we don't know yet. So we're like, I don't know how to start a website. I don't like how this works. I have no idea how long that would take. I have no idea the budget of that. Like, you're going to write that into your plan. You're going to spend hours researching this, and then you're going to figure out the scope of your project. And this is what stops a lot of people, because they just leave it as a question in their heads. Like, I don't know how to do that. And then they never like sit with it and figure it out. And guess what? Then they never do that. So plan in research time, R&D for your dream. Like, that's going to be part of getting there, is figuring out how. Of course you don't know how. You've never done it. That makes total sense. And what's so great is this how-to list for how you're going to reach your micro goals, which ultimately serve your bigger goals. That how-to list is now going to become your action steps. And if you've watched the video this far, guys, hopefully you're getting something out of it. So if you could just take a second and hit that like button for me, I would really appreciate it. That way other inspiring goal badasses like yourself can find this video. So an example of making the demo, let's say we pick that as our micro goal that we're zooming in on here. We're going bigger to small here. The action steps that you're going to want to take for creating that demo is going to be things like write the song, find a low budget producer, work your day job to afford said low budget producer, plan a release strategy, etc. You're going to get that all down. These are your action steps. And now what you've done is taken like this giant life goal and turned it into these bite-sized pieces. And now you're like almost whittled down all the way to the all the way micro. And these little micro pieces, like they're edible, they're palatable. Like, how do you eat the elephant? One bite at a time. These are the bites. So we got the big macro, which would be the 1,000 fans. And you've got the micro, which is one of these being, let's record the demo. And then the action steps here, the how, which is like, okay, write the song, find the producer. And so that's your to-do list. And I would encourage you to write those to-dos down. You can write the entire list down, but basically you're going to have to do this a lot of different times, because if you have another big dream that we haven't, talked about here yet, you're going to have to zoom in on all of it again, and then you're going to have to do it again. And inside of each one, there's more of these little categories. You're going to zoom in on all of those. It takes time, guys. Like, when I've been doing this for a good minute now, and it's taken me weeks. It took me weeks to map that out, because I kept thinking of new ideas, and honestly, I keep adding to them. So you got this giant list of to-dos that will eventually serve your end goal. Maybe you have like 200 little micro things on there when you add them all together, maybe even more. It might seem overwhelming, but what's going to be helpful is to assign each of those to-dos to different days. So you could literally say, I'm going to do 10 of these a day, and that'll take me a month, and then I'll have this done, and then I'll have reached that micro goal. Like, that will totally hook me up. And the entire time, every morning that you're waking up and looking at that to-do list, you're feeling really confident, because you know where it's taking you, because you see how today's actions fit into the bigger picture. So that's why you gotta schedule this stuff. You gotta have a due date for this stuff, because if it's just like a long list that sits in your notebook and there's 200 tasks on there, guess who's not gonna do them? You're not gonna wanna do a 200 task list, because it's gonna be crippling. It's gonna be too overwhelming. That's why, again, you gotta make it easy for yourself and chunk it down. And also go through that list and see, like, are there a few things here that I could accomplish that would remove some of these other items? So there's the 80-20 principle in life, the Pareto Scale, Pareto principle, which is like 80% of your efforts produce 20% of your results, and 20% of your efforts produce 80% of your results. It's like a tongue twister as I say it. So what are the 80-20 tasks on there? Are there some tasks that you could put 20% of your effort in that would get you 80% of your way there to your goal? Like, if you got 80% there, you might realize the other 20% is irrelevant, or you might be so fired up that you're like ready to do it. So that's why you start like with those smart, really strategic pieces first and knock those out. And then you're like, oh, I don't even need to worry about this other stuff. So let's dig into the daily planning real quick. My man Brian Tracy says 1 minute of planning equals 10 minutes of execution. Like, that blows my mind. That makes me feel like all those weeks spent planning it out are actually quite valuable, and they actually are a time saver. So this is where every single day you need to be revisiting this stuff. I have my micro goals set up on my wall right over here. I can see them. They are on note cards. I got my Sharpie out and wrote my micro goals out and put them on there. And then at the very top in a pink note card, so you know it's special, I've got my macro goal. I've got the big one. Like, this is where the whole point, this is where it's all going. And if I revisit that and I see that some of those micro goals aren't actually serving that one big macro goal, I can just get rid of them and be like, oh, you know what? This will take care of itself once I reach this thing. So I don't even need to worry about that anymore. So on a daily basis, I can see this, and I encourage you to put your stuff up on the walls. Like, literally writing it down is a huge, huge part of this. And I've heard people say this, and I'll be like watching someone's video in bed and they'll be saying that, and I'm like, yeah, I'm tired though. I don't really want to get up and do that. I'll like make a note in my phone that will get lost forever. For real, if you're serious about this, if you want to create your dream life, if you want to live that dream life, put that shit on the walls, you guys. And then I also wanted to tell you, I use Asana for my actual like action steps. So in Asana, you've got your different projects. Each of those projects is connected to one of my micro goals on the wall. Inside that project, then I've got different cards and different categories with all my action steps. And guess what, guys? They got due dates. And so it's easy for me to go in every morning and see, what am I working on today? And I remember this is linked to my ultimate dream. I also wanted to talk about planners real quick. These are some of my favorite planners. I've got the Happiness Planner. This is super cute. And then the Daniel Laporte, it's called the Desire Map Planner. And so I have used both of these for years and I really like them. However, I don't do a good job using them every day. I get in these like fits of planner using where I use it and then I jump off the bandwagon. But if you're good with like physical paper and planners and you want a planner, those are really good. Look into those. I've honestly been having more luck with Asana just because I can take it on my phone and it's just, it holds all that information. Plus my handwriting sucks and I like that digital programs, there is no handwriting involved. But the point is, whether it is digital or in a planner, you need to keep this stuff in front of you. If you're gonna use a planner, have like a Post-it note that you're moving from day to day with the big thing on there so you're remembering, this is why I'm doing these tasks. This is why I'm saving my money, or this is why I'm not going out with my friends, or this is why I'm not eating that hot fudge sundae because I have a vision, I know I wanna get healthy, or I know I wanna get on a budget, or whatever it is. Like you need to see the end vision and it needs to excite you and motivate you, inspire you. So let's say you've stuck with me this far and you're actually gonna do all this stuff, which kudos to you on that, it's amazing. And you've got lots and lots of little action items, lots and lots of tasks. You've got your micro goals, you've got your big macro goal, or maybe a couple of those. Your whole life is going to be changed because of this. I kid you not. It is going to accelerate you so much because once you achieve a few of those tasks and see that you're actually like knocking out that micro goal that you set for yourself, it's going to create so much momentum. And you know, when you're up at night and you're thinking, oh, I need to do this. Oh, I should do that. Oh my God, I need to do that. And it just like drives you crazy. And it's like a weight that holds you down. I swear, like getting these things done, things that have been on my mind for years, it's like dropping weights. It makes me feel so light. It energizes me. And guess what? I can take all that energy and put it towards my next goal. It's like compound interest. Like, have you heard of the debt snowball? It's where you pay off your debt like one credit card at a time, and then you take that money on that you were paying on that card and put it towards the next card, and then you pay that off, and then like finally it's like a snowball that keeps getting bigger and the momentum gets picked up. It's like that with your planning too. I swear. Your momentum, like your life gets energized where you want to tackle these tasks faster. So even if you've scheduled 10 a day for yourself, you're gonna be like, give me 20. I got this because I know where I'm going and I want to accelerate this. Remember, a professional person has professional habits. An amateur person has amateur habits. That is from Stephen Pressfield's Turning Pro. And that's where my mindset's at. I want to have professional habits because I want to have a pro life, right? Let's level up. Let's live next level lives together. That's it. Thank you for watching. Huge thank you to my patrons. My patrons make these episodes very possible. This one was a longer episode. I feel like I gave you some of my best work in this, stuff that really has been working for me that I was excited to share with you that I know will work for you too. And just so you know, this episode would not be a thing without my patrons supporting it. You guys know patrons kind of make YouTube run these days, and I am so grateful. My patrons, some of them also get the audio downloads of these episodes, so if you want the audio version of this, you gotta head on over there to get that. Would love to have you join us. Thanks for watching. I will see you next week, and happy planning. I know you're gonna kill it at life because you're a badass. That's what you do.